What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Night YouTube channel. In today's video, guys, I am bringing you Dungeon Flee. This is a small box, single-player dungeon crawling card game, and it is created and designed by Joseph Prapati. Guys, this game is super fun. I've played a couple times off camera, and in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to play so you can play through the game yourself, and we'll try to get through a full playthrough. It's a pretty lengthy game, so this video might turn out to be kind of long, just a fair warning. As you can see by the timestamp, I'm sure. So grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack, sit back and relax as we get into Dungeon Flee. So let's start out with a little bit of an overview of the game. Essentially, it is a deck building dungeon crawler game where you're going to be going through various corridors of a dungeon as an adventurer, and you're going to be fighting enemies, gaining some treasures, and trying to make your way out of the dungeon. You're essentially fleeing the dungeon, hence the name Dungeon Flee. So that's the basic premise of the game, and here's a little backstory of the game by the creator. While exploring alone deep within the complex of ruins near your village looking for salvageable parts, you suddenly hear whispering from what appears to be a small group across the corridor. Quickly, gracefully, you fall back to the shadows, confident you haven't been spotted yet. By then, you recognize the voices as goblins. It doesn't sound like a large group, and curious, you carefully try to get a little closer. As you strain your ears, you discover that yes, definitely goblin, and they are part of a larger group whispering on a plan to raid your village. More urgent now, you sneak as close as possible to learn more. The goblins refer to their leader, some undead Lich King, who has been forcing them to do his bidding for a while now, and as you shift your weight a bit against the corridor wall, your foot dislodges a stone that rattles across the corridor. Now, all eyes turn toward you. Startled, but not one to run from a fight, or from goblins for that matter, you square off to face them as they start approaching. Counting only 5 or 6, you tell yourself, this should be an easy fight. Only then, you notice the rather large cave troll coming up from behind them, grinning from ear to ear, and very visibly showcasing a giant axe. Next time, no time to admire, though, as the odds just went out of your favor and you realize this probably won't go well. Remembering the nearby cavern, you slowly back into it and try and bottleneck them in. Then, without a word, they rush you. The cave troll doesn't even bother avoiding the goblins, he just tramples over them in order to get to you first. The battle begins, and you are in the fight of your life. Each blow from the troll's giant club smashes against your shield and forces you deeper and deeper back. You begin to realize that if you get backed into a corner, it's all over. Deftly parrying the latest blow, you bow, then evade to turn and run sideways, but 5 steps in, and the ground disappears. Only blackness surrounds you. You have the sensation of falling as you feel only the wind rushing past your face, faster and faster now. You chuckle to yourself that at least this will be a quicker death than a cave troll's club caving in your head. Bouncing and crashing off the cavern walls, you lose all control. Splash! Suddenly, you are submerged in the icy cold of a fast-flowing underground river. Sinking, struggling, you emerge to the surface, coughing. There you can make out the riverbed, and a boulder looming ahead dangerously close now. In reflex, you reach out and grab the jagged edge of the boulder and pull yourself out of the water and onto a small rocky ledge. Drenched, bruised, and exhausted, your heart pounding, you pause to check your wounds. With only minor bruises and scrapes, you pray to your god, then assess the situation. You are exhausted, but alive. But for how long? And how to get out? You have to get back to your village and warn them. Then, adjusting your eyes to the darkness, you notice a faint flicker in the distance across a wall. Squinting, it looks a little like a torch. Groaning, you get up and make your way into what turns out to be a corridor in the distance with a lit torch on the wall. Alert for predators nearby, with no time to waste, you begin your trek into the unknown and hopefully, eventually, to the surface. The quicker you escape this dungeon, the sooner you can save your village and your friends. How is that for an introduction to Dungeon Flee, dude? That is super cool. That comes straight from the rulebook for Dungeon Flee right here, and that is, of course, included with the game. And this is a very nice full-color rulebook right here. It's got all the rules in it. Teaches you how to play the various modes of the game. There's an easy mode and a hard mode, and I believe there's like an extreme mode also. We're going to be going over the easy mode today. But the other modes are very similar. It basically just changes how you set up the decks of cards, and we'll go over that. So there you go, guys. That is that's the introduction for Dungeon Flee. So now let's get into actually playing the game. I think it's cool that he set up the scenario like that. It really builds the story and kind of shows you how you got to the point that you're at when you actually start playing and why you're even in this dungeon and trying to escape in the first place. Pretty cool. So there we go. We're going to set the rulebook off to the side. We'll set the box off to the side. It's a nice box, by the way. It comes in like a really nice box with really thick cardboard. It's got a divider to hold the cards in. Cool stuff. Okay, we're going to set that over here. Squeaky box. And then we've got a couple of components here. We've got a little meeple to keep track of your character. And we've got a little yellow cube that will keep track of your health. And then the rest of the stuff, apart from this this card right here, which is basically just a quick reference card. It shows you some references right here. It's got a cool little image of the village on the back of the card right here. You could set that over here. And I've got the mat also, so if you guys are interested in grabbing the mat, I'll have a link down in the description, not only for Dungeon Flea, but also for the mat, so you can pick that up if you want to. And I believe there's like several different mats that you can get for the game, which is really neat. Essentially, it's all the same layout, it's just a different image in the background. I want to say there's like 3 different mats or something, 3 or 4 different mats. Cool stuff. And then the rest of the game is literally cards, guys. There's no dice rolling in this game. It is all cards, and it comes with a bunch of them. It's well over 100 cards. These cards right here are going to be your character cards, your different adventurer cards, and then they also come with some little reference cards right here for their different abilities depending on what character you pick. So the barbarian, the thief, the cleric, and the wizard all have some little special abilities that you can use. And then the different characters that come in the game, you've got a barbarian, and you've got a male and female version of every character in the game. So you've got barbarian, you've got the 2 fighters, male and female, you got the male and female wizard, thief, and then cleric also. So what is that? That is 5 different characters you can play as in the game. In today's video, we're going to play as a barbarian. So we're going to go ahead and set our barbarian right here in the center of the table. That will be our character card. And then we're going to set our yellow cube on his maximum health value, which is 24. And of course, whenever you take damage, you just move this cube around the card, and then you flip it to its opposite side when your health goes down low enough, and you go all the way around. Like so. Cool. We're going to take the rest of these character cards. We'll set those off to the side. We're not going to be needing those for this playthrough. Set those over this way. Cool. And then let's check and see. We've got a barbarian, so we've got a barbarian skill over here. So we're going to go ahead and set that over here on our character ability card slot, and we'll take the rest of the cards and set them off to the side. And for the barbarian, it says Fear of Magic. The barbarian will avoid picking up or using all treasure items. If found, place treasure cards in the banished pile, which is up this way. Any cards that go to the banished pile are completely removed from the game. So the barbarian has a lot of HP, it seems, and to kind of balance it out and make up for it, he can't pick up any treasure. All right, and then we've got this massive deck of cards here, guys. So let's flip this thing over. I've got it all nice and sleeved up. We're going to go over the different types of cards. So first of all, we've got these. So you're going to get 10 of these. This is going to be like your main starting deck that you always start the game with, no matter what character you choose. You're going to get 5 of these cards, which are swords, symbolized by this big red spiky symbol here, and it also has some swords on the card. And then you get 5 of these shield cards right here, symbolized by the big shield on the card. So this is going to be your starting deck. So you're going to take these. We're going to set these off to the side for now over here. And then we're going to go ahead and check out the rest of the types of cards. So there's going to be 6 of these like final corridor cards. So as you can see too, on the mat, it's really nice how the mat is laid out. You've got these 6 different dungeon corridors. So there's going to be 6 different decks of cards, and you're going to use your meeple to go down different corridors and resolve different cards depending on what corridor you choose to go down. And of course, you use your meeple and put them in these little spots to show where you are. If you don't have the mat, you just set the meeple next to the deck. So you're going to have these 6 cards right here. 2 of them are going to be called Dead Ends, and then 4 of them are going to be called Stairs Up. Now, these are always going to be at the bottom of every deck, and you're trying to make your way down to these. If you run into a dead end, well, you're out of luck. You got to go try to go down another corridor. Your goal in the game is to find all 4 of the Stairs Up cards in order to get out of the dungeon. So when you find a Stairs Up, it's like you go up a level, and then you go all the way up until you eventually get out of the dungeon. So that's the main goal. You want to try to find all 4 of these Stairs Up cards, and that is it. This game, it doesn't have points. It doesn't have scores. You either win or you lose. You either get to all the 4 Stairs Up cards and win, or your character loses all of their HP, goes below 1 health, and then you lose the game. So we're going to take these. We're going to set these off to the side for now. We're going to use those momentarily. and then we're going to go through the rest of the cards. So there's going to be, in the easy mode, there's going to be a very particular way that you need to set up the dungeon. So we're going to take all of these cards here. There we go. We're going to take all of these. So you'll notice that these cards, they all have a green, sort of like spiky saw blade looking symbol up in the top right corner. You're going to want to separate all of these cards into their number value. So you've got the ones right here. So we'll set all the ones, and I've already done this beforehand to make it a little bit easier, save us a little bit of time. Then you've got all the twos right here. Set those here. Then you've got your threes, and you're just going to make your own little separate piles like this. Then we got fours. Cool. Fives. Like so. And then we've got, let's make a little bit more room. Then we've got some sixes, and we've got 7 right here with the Lich King. He's the boss monster. He's the guy from the story that's ordering the little goblins around and planning to raid your village. So you've got all of those set up. Now what you're going to want to do is take all of them and flip them over like so. We're going to flip all of these face down. And then you're going to take the 7, the Lich King card, and you're going to put it on top of the stack that has the 6s. So you'll put him right on top, and we'll set these off to the side for now. We only need to focus on these 3 or these 5 decks over here rather. The next type of card you're going to have is treasure cards. There are 7 of them. Oh, you know what, guys? I actually skipped a step. Let's put this Lich King back over here. You're going to take all 7 of your treasure cards here, and they're marked with a like a glove down in the bottom corner. You can see they all have a glove down here. Those are your 7 treasure cards. You're going to take each of these, you're going to shuffle these up, and then you're going to take each of these and set them on top of these stacks. So you'll put one on top of each stack, like so. Then you'll take your pile over here, your 7, and you'll set it on top of this one, and then set it off to the side. I got a little ahead of myself there. Okay, and then the rest of the cards are going to be these empty corridor cards. Essentially, when you run into these, you'll be able to rest and gain back 1 HP to your character, and then this card will go into your discard pile and become part of your deck, and it will essentially act as like a dead card in your hand, and the only way to get rid of it is to play a shield and a sword card from your hand to be able to send this to the banish pile and get it out of your deck, and you'll see that soon enough. You can actually do that with any card in the game. You can get rid of a sword and a shield to banish any card from your hand, to kind of thin your deck down and really hone your deck to the exact cards that you want to have in it. So there are 15 of these, I believe, and then there are 3 of these door cards. So you've got a wooden door, an iron door, and a magic door. You're going to take all of these cards and you're going to mix them together. So you're going to mix the 3 door cards in with the empty corridor cards. Get those mixed together. And then you're going to place these on top of these 5 piles in a very particular order. You're going to take 3 and place them on this pile over here on top of your ones, your cards that have the 1 on the green. On the next one, you're going to put 3. Then on the third one, you're going to put 5. And then on this one, you're going to put 3 once again. And then there will be 4 cards left over that go on this pack right here. Cool. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take these decks and you're going to mix them up and get all of these cards nice and shuffled together. And then this is going to create a sort of streamlined experience where you're going to be fighting easier monsters and running into easier traps early on in the dungeon, and then it'll get progressively harder. In the hard mode, it changes things up a little bit. You take the 1 through 4 enemies and you mix all of those together, and then you mix the other ones together. So you can run into like level 4 enemies early on. And then I believe in like the extreme mode, you just kind of mix everything together and you just go for it and hope you get lucky. And you could run into like really, really gnarly monsters and traps early on. And it's kind of just like the Wild West. But this is a more structured experience, helps you learn how to play the game. And it feels more like a video game where it kind of flows and you're building up as you move through, fighting easier things, and then moving into progressively harder enemies and traps as you move throughout the game, throughout the dungeon. Cool. So then you're going to take your 6 and 7 pack over here. You're going to place it on top of the 5s. Then you're going to grab that, put on top the 4s, top the 3, top the 2, and then on top the 1s. So you'll have all of your higher cards up at the top, and then all of your lower cards down at the bottom. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the 6 cards that have the stairs up and the dead ends, and we're going to shuffle those and get those mixed up. And then we're going to place 1 down on each of these dungeon corridor slots. And then we're going to take our deck that we've created here, and we're going to start. And you could start anywhere, but I'm going to start up here in the top left, and we're going to go around clockwise, placing 1 card on top of each of these. And you'll just go around doing this. And obviously what this is doing is it's taking all the higher difficulty cards from the top of the deck and putting them down on the bottom. And then we're just stacking the easier difficulty cards on top as we go around. And eventually we'll have 6 corridor decks that are randomized, but have easier enemies early on and harder enemies later. There we go. So it's quite a setup for the game. Again, this is only for the easy mode. If you want to just jump right in and you don't want to do all of the setup, you can play the extreme mode, which I have not tried yet. And yeah, you just kind of shuffle it all together and just go for it. You don't have to do all of this setup. But I think this is probably a good experience to at least do once or twice if you want to kind of, you know, get a good hold of the game. And the setup isn't too bad. Okay, especially once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. There we go. Okay, we are set up, guys. We are set up. So we've got our other deck of cards over here with our starter cards, our 5 shields and our 5 swords, and we're going to shuffle those and get those mixed up. Okay. There we go. Cool. And we'll put that down here on our draw deck pile. So we've got a draw deck here, and we've got a discard pile here. And anytime we run into treasure cards, we'll be able to put those down here in our cards in play. But unfortunately, as the barbarian, we can't pick up any treasure cards. So you know what, guys? Maybe for the purposes of the tutorial, maybe we should pick a character other than the barbarian, because I'm going to want to show you guys some of these treasures. So let's go ahead, and it just happened to be on top, so I picked that one. Maybe let's go with a fighter. That might be kind of cool. Yeah, let's do a fighter. We'll do a fighter. Okay, so we're going to have 16 health. Let's see, do we have a fighter card? No, we don't. Okay, so we'll just put this over here. So the fighter doesn't have any special ability. So now we'll be able to pick up treasures. I think this will work better for the purposes of the tutorial, so you guys can see how the treasures work. Okay, cool. So we've got our cube set on our maximum health of 16, and now we can decide which of these corridors we want to go to, and I'll explain to you guys how each of the different cards works, how they work as we run into them. So first thing you're going to want to do is choose what corridor you want to go down. So let's start with this one, with 1 up here. They're even numbered. It doesn't really matter. You can go wherever you want, but we're going to go right here at number 1. So we're going to put our little meeple inside this little dungeon door symbol here. Then we're going to flip the top card of this corridor, and we've got a fire beetle. Now we're going to draw 5 cards from our deck, like so. Cool. So we've got 3 swords and 2 shields. And you'll see up in the top left corner of the card, this is going to show you what combination of cards, swords, and shields you need to use in order to defeat that monster. And then in the top right, it's going to show how much damage it's going to deal to you if you're unable to defeat it. And of course, it's got a cool little image of the monster, and then the name down here, Fire Beetle. So we need 1 shield and 2 swords. So we've got our 1 shield, and we've got 2 swords, and that is enough to defeat the Fire Beetle. So in this instance, the Fire Beetle, it just says its name down here. It doesn't have anything else. If the monster just has its name down here and you defeat it, it gets banished and sent to the banished pile. Some monsters are going to have symbols down here. They might have shields or sword symbols down here, in which case you would take those and actually send them to your discard pile, and you'll get to use those in your deck from then on as swords and shields, depending on what symbols they have on the cards. And some cards have certain effects, like they might let you draw cards from your deck, or discard your hand and then draw new cards from your deck. They do various things. But in this case, it's just got the name of the monster, so it gets banished. So we've defeated it. So we spent our 1 shield and our 2 swords, and that's it. There's nothing left to do. We've defeated the monster, so these 2 cards do not remain in your hand. They get discarded over this way. Now we can choose. Do we want to stay in this corridor, or do we want to move to an adjacent corridor? I'm going to stay here. So let's flip another card. And we've run into an empty corridor. So as mentioned earlier, when you run into an empty corridor, you can choose to rest, in which case you would gain 1 HP. Since we haven't taken any damage and we're at full HP, we don't need to do that. But either way, whether you rest or not, this card, this empty corridor, is going to get added to your discard pile over here and eventually shuffled into your deck. And when you draw this card, it's a dead card in your hand, and you have to use a shield and a sword in order to banish it from your hand and remove it from your deck permanently. Okay, we're going to stay in this corridor. Let's go deeper. And we've got a blade trap. So we've got a new type of card. This is a trap. So we've got one shot at getting rid of this trap. We need 3 shields and 1 sword in order to disarm this trap. If we do, you can see down here, it's got a shield and a sword icon. That means instead of banishing it, it'll get sent over here to our discard pile. And whenever we draw this card and play it, we can use it as a shield and a sword. Very, very powerful. If we're unable to do this, if we're unable to resolve this card, if we don't get 3 shields and a sword, we're going to take 2 damage. So we would reduce our health by 2. And since it's a trap, this card would immediately get banished. It goes away. You only get that 1 shot at disarming it. So let's go ahead and draw our 5 cards. Okay. And so we need 3 shields and a sword, and we have got it. So we've got our 3 shields here and a sword, and that is going to take care of the blade trap. And since it's got the symbols down here, we get to add that to our discard pile over this way. And then these other cards go here, and then our 1 remaining card will also get discarded. So our deck has run out of cards, so we're going to go ahead and shuffle those up. And as you can see, we're already building our deck. So we added that trap card to our hand, which is a good one. And we have an empty corridor, which is a bad one that we're going to want to get rid of. So we'll shuffle those up like so. Now we can decide, do we want to go deeper here, or do we want to move to an adjacent corridor? I'm going to actually continue down this path. Ooh, and now you can see it's getting a little bit harder. We've got these level 2 monsters now. A giant baby spider. Okay, so we're going to draw 5 cards, and we're going to need 2 shields and 3 swords in order to take it out. And we're not going to be able to because we've got the exact opposite. We've got 3 shields and only 2 swords. So we're going to end up taking 2 damage. But here's a pretty cool thing that you can do. You can spend 2 shields to mitigate 1 damage. So we're going to get rid of these 2 shields. We're going to discard those. That's going to prevent 1 damage. And then we're going to take 1 remaining damage. So we're going to send our health from 16 down to 15. Now, if we wanted to, we could use a shield and a sword to banish a card in our hand. I'm not going to do that just yet, but later on in the game, you will get to a point where you're going to want to start banishing these starter cards because they're not going to be nearly as good as the other cards that you're going to be adding to your deck. So, but as for right now, I'm just going to leave it alone. I don't want to get rid of those just yet. So I'm going to discard my hand. We were not able to defeat the giant baby spiders. So now we can decide to fight the giant baby spiders again, or we can go to an adjacent corridor and leave them there. I think I'm going to go to an adjacent corridor. So let's head over this way and see what we got here. Cool. So we found a treasure. It's got the glove in the bottom. Whenever you find a treasure, you immediately pick it up and you add it to your cards and play area over here. And this one is a potion of healing. It says, use potion of healing to remove 6 points of damage from your health and destroy after use. So you basically just banish this card. It's removed from the game, and you get to heal 6 points of health. Now, you can use this card whenever you want. Even if you're about to take damage that would kill you, you can use the potion of healing to heal up before receiving the damage. You can use it at any point you want in the game. So we're going to hang on to that. It's good that we picked that up. It's a good thing that we changed from the barbarian, too, because as the barbarian, you can't pick up treasure, so we wouldn't have been able to get that. So this is good. Okay, we're going to go deeper into here, and we found an empty corridor. We can rest, which means we can gain 1 hit point back, but then we have to add this empty corridor to our discard pile over here. Yikes. So we're getting some dead cards in our deck over here. We're going to want to get rid of those soon. Let's go deeper in. And we found a Morning Star trap. We're going to need 3 shields and 1 sword. And if we fail to do it, we're going to take 2 damage. And remember, traps you only get 1 shot at. So if we don't do it, we're going to take 2 damage and it's going to get banished over this way. So let's draw our 5 cards. Oh man, we were so close. Okay, what I think I'm going to do, because we've only got 2 shields and we've got 3 swords. We need 3 shields though, so we're not going to be able to do this. It's unfortunate too, because with this card, you get to draw 2 cards from your deck, place 1 in your hand, and discard the other. This is a really useful card. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this blade trap. So I'm going to send this over here. I'm going to discard this. It's a shield and a sword, and I'm going to use that to banish 1 card from my hand. So we're going to banish this empty corridor from my hand. Now, I don't have enough swords and shields to resolve the Morningstar trap. So we're going to take 2 damage, and I've only got 1 shield in my hand. I don't have enough to mitigate any damage, because remember, you need 2 shields to mitigate 1 point of damage. So we're going to take 2 damage, go down to 14, and then these cards are going to go here, and this trap gets sent over this way to the banished pile. Okay, I'm going to stay in this corridor. Let's go a little bit deeper. We've got giant rats, so we need to draw 5 cards. So I've got 2 right here. Let's shuffle up our discard pile, form a new draw deck. Then we're going to draw 3 cards. And we need 2 shields and 2 swords. All right, 1, 2, 3. And let's see what we've got. Okay. Oh, we got it. We got it. So we've got 1, 2, 3 shields, and then 1, 2 swords. Actually, we don't even need to use this shield. We've got our 2 shields and our 2 swords, and that is enough to take down the giant rats. And see, it's only got the name giant rats. It doesn't have any symbols like this on it. So we destroy it. It gets banished. These cards go to our discard pile. And we can't do anything with these. If we had a sword to go with our shield, we could discard those to banish this empty corridor, but unfortunately, we don't have that. So we'll just discard both of those cards. And we're going to move deeper into this corridor. Let's flip over this card. And we got an empty corridor. So we're going to heal 1, go up to 15, and get another dead card in our deck. Let's go deeper in. Ooh, we're getting deep into this one now. So you can see too in easy mode, it's very beneficial to kind of work your way around and fight the easier enemies at the beginning of each corridor, and then sort of like work your way around and get deeper into each one so you can build your deck up. We got some skeleton archers. We need 3 shields and 3 swords. This is going to be a tall order here. So let's go ahead and draw. And yeah, we're not going to be able to take it down. We've only got the 2 swords. We do have the 3 shields, but we're 1 sword short. So we're going to end up taking 3 damage. So I'm going to discard these 2 shields to mitigate 1 damage, and we're going to take 2 damage instead and go from 15 down to 13. And I think I'm going to hang on to the rest of my cards. I don't want to get rid of these yet. I was debating discarding a sword and shield to get rid of this sword, but I don't want to do that just yet. Okay, so we weren't able to defeat that skeleton archer, so we took the damage, and I'm just going to leave him there, and we're going to move this way and start working on this corridor. So hopefully at this point, you guys can pretty much get the idea of how the game works. This is the main gist of it. We're going to keep going. Like I said, this is probably going to be a pretty long video. This game takes a little bit to play, so feel free to hang out with me and continue to watch, because I'm sure we're going to run into some other things that'll help you learn and questions that you may have. So got an empty corridor. I'll try to go a little bit quicker though. So we're going to go up to 14 health. This is going to get added to our deck. Cool, so here we go. Here's a perfect example. So some of these cards are going to have this symbol where it'll have the shield and sword symbol up in the top left. That means that you can use any combination. So it has a 3. So that means we can have 3 of any of them. We could have 3 shields to defeat this guy. We could have 3 swords. We could have 2 swords and a shield. You can have any combination of swords and shields as long as you have 3 cards in order to defeat the kobold archer. So we're going to draw our 2 cards. Then we're going to shuffle up the rest of our deck here. And we're going to draw 3 more. So we have a 5-card hand. And we just need 3 of any type. Boom. Right there. We've got our 3. We'll discard those. We destroy the kobold archer. It's just his name on the bottom. So he gets banished. These cards go to our discard pile, and we're going to go deeper in. We've got a fire beetle. We need 4 of any type. So we're going to draw our 5 cards. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of any type. That'll defeat the fire beetle. He'll go here, and we'll discard the rest of these cards over this way. He was a level 2. I think I'm going to start going this way, and we're going to go into this corridor now. And we've run into a goblin miner. Let's draw our deck. So we've got 4 cards there. We need 1 more. The goblin miner is really easy. We just need 1 shield and 1 sword in order to defeat him. Okay, so we've got our shield. We've got our sword. We defeat the goblin miner. And I'm going to use a sword and a shield to discard and banish a card from my hand and banish this empty corridor and get that dead card out of our deck. Cool, let's go deeper into this corridor. Okay, cool. We've run into a door. So we've got a poison gas door. Now, doors work a little bit differently. So let's go ahead and draw. We're going to draw our hand of cards. So we need 2 shields and 2 swords. Now, we did manage to get it. We've got a shield, a second shield, 1 sword, and another sword. So that is going to get rid of the door. Had we not been able to do that, if we didn't have the right combination of swords and shields and we weren't able to get rid of this card, we would take the 1 damage. We would take the damage printed up here in the top right corner. And then this door would actually remain, and all of the enemies that are in play would move 1 space clockwise around the table. And that would happen every time we try to resolve this door and fail. If you ever have an enemy that's over here and it has to move clockwise, it'll actually go on top of the door, and then you are forced to fight this enemy. You can't choose to go somewhere else. You have to fight this enemy, and then once they're defeated, you're presented with the option to go through the door again if you would like, or to change which corridor you want to go down. But in this case, we have the requirement to defeat the door, so we defeat the door, and as you can see, it has some text down here. It says discard hand and redraw 5 cards to create a new hand. That is a really cool effect. So this card is actually going to get added over here to our discard pile and become part of our deck, and you're essentially just going to ignore everything on the top half of the card from then on out. Whenever you play this card, you're only going to be using it for its effect down here to discard your hand and redraw 5 cards. So we're going to send that over this way. We're going to discard these cards over here, and in our hand, we can't do anything with these, so we're going to send those to the discard pile as well, and we're going to go deeper into this corridor. So we got a baby dragon here. Let's draw 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's cool too, because you got this reference card here, and it goes over a lot of these little things too. Like, it tells you what the different symbols are, the monster damage. It tells you that each sword and shield pair played will remove a card from your hand. It tells you that you can use 2 shields to mitigate 1 damage. It tells you about the rules for doors, traps, empty corridors, and the stairs up card. So it gives you a little rundown of each of the key cards in the game. Cool, let's go ahead and grab our 5th card for our hand. And we need 2 and 2. So, ooh, we don't have it. We don't have it. So we're going to end up taking 2 damage from the baby dragon. So I'm going to get rid of 2 shields. That's going to mitigate 1 damage. So we're going to take 1. And then I'm going to use a sword and a shield here to banish a card from our hand. And then the baby dragon will remain. I think we can take this guy down. I want to fight him again. We're going to go down that corridor again and see what we get. Ooh. Okay, check this out. This is going to be a cool play. So we're going to use a sword and a shield to banish a card from our hand to get rid of this corridor, empty corridor. And then I'm going to discard this poison gas door card to discard my hand and redraw 5 cards and create a new hand. So we're going to discard our hand and then draw 5 cards. We've got 4 right here. Let's set this here in the discard pile since we just used it. And then we're going to draw a new card. There we go. So we need 2 shields and 2 swords, and we've got it. We've got our 2 shields, we've got our 2 swords. It's going to kill the baby dragon, and it's got symbols down at the bottom, so that's going to get added to our discard pile over this way, and then we'll discard our last card since we can't do anything with that. Let's go deeper in. We got an empty corridor. We're going to rest in the empty corridor, gain a health, and then this gets added to our deck. And I think I'm going to actually shift and go into this corridor here, and we're going to work our way around. So we're going to draw 5 cards. And we've got 2 shields and 1 sword to defeat this goblin warrior. So we've got our 2 shields, our 1 sword. We defeat the goblin warrior. It's only got his name at the bottom, so he gets banished, and we discard the other 2 cards. I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit here, guys, so we can get through this. But again, pretty sure you guys pretty much get the gist of the game now. We're just going to work our way around. You're trying to work your way all the way through each corridor, and we're trying to find those 4 stairs up cards to exit the dungeon and try to avoid running into any of the dead ends, of course. Okay, so we've got this guy here, this kobold warrior. We need 3 of any type. So I'll give this a quick mix. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 5 cards here. We need 3 of any type. Boom, we've got them right here. That's going to add this kobold warrior to our discard pile over here because he's got a shield icon here that we can use. And these other 2 cards, I'm just going to discard. Let's go deeper in. Okay, we got giant rats. We need 2 shields and 2 swords in order to defeat them, and it is not looking good at all. We drew terribly. That is so bad. Okay, so we're going to take 2 damage from these giant rats and go down to 12. We can't do anything with these cards, so we're going to discard all of them over this way. And you know what? I want to take the giant rat on again. I'm pretty sure we can get him. So we got 4 cards there. Let's mix these up, and we get 1 more. All right, let's see. We need 2 shields, 2 swords. We don't have it again. So I'm going to have to use this card here to discard our hand and redraw 5 cards to create a new hand. So let's discard, draw 5, and there we go. Okay, we got a shield and a sword. That's 2 swords. We'll use our kobold warrior. That's 2 shields. So we got 2 shields, 2 swords. We took down the giant rats, and it gives us shields. So this gets added to our discard pile. And then the other 2 cards we can't do anything with, so they go over here in our discard pile. Let's go deeper in. Let's go deeper down this corridor. We found an empty corridor. We're going to rest and add this to our discard pile. Let's go again. Let's go again. Ooh, a skeleton archer. We need 6 of any type. Okay, let's draw our 5 cards. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is the same hand we drew a little while ago. Yeah, that's not going to work. We can't do that. So we're going to take 3 damage from this guy and go from 13 down to 10. Yikes. Okay, these are going to get discarded. And you know what? We're going to shuffle up our deck. I'm not going to go that way. Let's head up this way and start going down this corridor. I believe this is the only one that we haven't tried yet, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go down that way. Let's get these nice and mixed up. Yeah, because we started here on the 1. So this is the final corridor that we need to take down the early enemies in. So actually, let's flip the card first. Okay, we got Goblin Miner. Then we'll draw our 5 cards. We need a shield and a sword. We got the shield. We got the sword. We take down the Goblin Miner, and he's going to add a sword icon to our deck. So he's going to go over here in the discard pile. We discard the other 3 cards and move deeper in. We've got a centipede. We need 1 of each, a shield and a sword. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard the Blade Trap, which gives us a shield and a sword, and we're going to banish the empty corridor from our hand. And then we've got a shield and a sword to take down the centipede, and it's just got his name, so he's going to get banished. We'll discard this card and go deeper into this corridor. Okay, we've got a dungeon guard. We need 2 shields and 3 swords to defeat this guy. That's a pretty tall order here. Looks like we're not going to be able to do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to discard a sword and shield to banish a card from my hand. This empty corridor. We're doing good at getting rid of those. Then I'm going to use the poison gas door to discard my hand and redraw 5 cards. So we've got 2 here. And let's shuffle up the rest of the deck. It's a cool game, man. It really is. It definitely has some strategy involved in like the deck building aspect. Of course, there's luck. I mean, it's a game, right? It's a card game. All these games, card games, dice games, of course, is going to be the element of luck. That's what makes it, what makes it exciting. You know what I mean? But you can strategize a bit too in how you want to build your deck, how you want to, which cards you want to get rid of by using swords and shields, when you want to play your cards that have abilities. There's definitely some, the player has autonomy in the game. You can definitely have control over the outcome of the game for sure. Okay, so we need the 2 shields and the 3 swords here. And it looks like we're not going to get it, guys. We don't have 3 swords in our hand. That kind of sucks. Okay, so we're going to end up taking 2 damage, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to mitigate 1 damage with these 2 shields, and then we're going to mitigate the other 2 damage with the shield from the baby dragon and this shield here. So we're going to take no damage at all whatsoever. We're going to discard this. And you know what? I want to try again. We're going to fight this guy again. I think we can get him. So we're going to draw 5 cards. And I was wrong. We're not going to get him. We didn't get 3 swords again. We got a bunch of shields though. So he's going to deal 2 damage, but we're going to block 2 of them. Or we're going to block 1 damage with the 2 shields from the giant rat. And then we're going to use the shield from our kobold warrior and this shield to block the other damage and then discard these cards. And I'm going to try again. Maybe 3rd time's a charm? 3rd time's a charm? There we go. Okay. So now we've got 1, 2 shields, and then we've got 1 sword, 2 sword, 3 sword right here. Discard those. It's going to take down the dungeon guard, and he's going to provide us a shield and a sword. So we're going to add that to our discard pile, and then discard this card over this way, and we're going to shuffle up our discard pile to form a new draw deck. And I think I'm going to go deeper into this corridor. Let's push a little bit further in here and see how far we can get before we've got to abandon ship here. All right. Cool. So let's go ahead and see what we've got. We've got an empty corridor. So I'm going to heal 1. And then this is going to get added to our discard pile. Let's go deeper. We got a goblin wizard. So we need 4 of any type to defeat this guy. So we've got 2, 3, 4. We've defeated the goblin wizard. He's going to get added to our discard pile. And I'm actually going to use the poison gas door to discard my hand and draw 5 new cards. I kind of want to see if we can draw into some of these empty corridors and maybe we can get rid of them. And we didn't. What I am going to do though, is I'm actually going to discard the shield and sword from the dragon, or from the dungeon guard rather, to discard a card from, or banish a card from my hand. I'm going to start banishing some of these basic cards. I'm going to get rid of the shield right here. And I'm actually going to do the same. I'm going to get rid of a sword and shield here, discard that to banish this sword card right here. Cool. So now we're thinning out the deck because we want to start getting only cards that have like multiple symbols on them. There we go. Okay, let's go deeper. Let's go deeper into this corridor. We have a pit trap. Okay, so we've got 1 shot at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 3 shields and 2 swords. And we got it, guys. We got 2 shields, 3 shields, and 2 swords. We've defeated the pit trap. It can go over here into our discard pile. And then we'll discard this extra card in our hand. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. We've got a snake door. Ooh, okay, so we got a door here. This is going to be tough. So we need 4 shields and 1 sword. Yikes, that is a lot of shields. But fortunately, we do have some cards in here that give us multiple shields. I think there's one that gives us 2 shields. 2, 3. Okay, let's see. Let's see. We didn't get it. We didn't get it. We got 2 shields and 3 swords. That is not what we needed, dude. Oh, that's not what we needed. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard a sword and shield to banish this empty corridor. And now we're going to take 3 damage, unfortunately. So we're going to go from 11 down to 8. So now we have to flip our card over and we're going to go to 8. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to use my potion of healing to remove 6 points of damage from our health. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to go from 8 up to 14. Like so. Cool. The potions are extremely powerful. They are really, really, really good. Okay. So we weren't able to get through the door. So the door is going to stay. And now all the enemies are going to rotate clockwise. So this guy's going to go here. They're going to go there. They're going to go there. And as mentioned earlier, now that we're here at this door and this enemy has moved onto the door, we have to fight this enemy. We have to try to resolve this. So the other 2 cards in our hand are going to get discarded. And now we have to fight the giant baby spider. So let's draw 5. And we need 2 shields and 3 swords in order to defeat this guy. It looks like we don't have it, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and use the poison gas door to discard our hand and draw 5 new cards. Need a little bit of luck here. Dudes, we didn't get it, man. We've got shields for days, but we don't have enough swords. So he's going to attack for 2 damage. We're going to go ahead and block 1 with the giant rats. We got 2 shields here. And then we'll discard these 2 shields also to block all of the damage. And then we'll discard these. We can't do anything with them. And I think we could take this guy down. We're going to go ahead and fight him again. So we're going to get 3 cards. Shuffle these up. And we're going to get 2 more. Like so. Okay, so let's see here. We've got our 3 swords and we've got 2 shields. Let's go, guys. So we took down the giant baby spiders. They don't give us anything. It just has their name printed at the bottom. So they get banished and this extra card will get discarded over this way. Okay, now we're back at the door. So now we can choose, do we want to try to go through the door again? Or do we want to go to a different corridor? I kind of want to go to a different corridor. Let's go. That guy's kind of gnarly, man. 3 shields and 3 swords. It would be really good if we could get him, though. Let's try. Let's try to get it. Because if we get him, it says draw 2 cards from your deck and place them in your hand. That card is insanely good. So we're going to draw 5 cards. We've got 3 shields and 3 swords. I think we got it. So we got 1. Yep, we got 1, 2, 3 shields. And then 1, 2, 3 swords right there. Let's go, guys. So we took down the skeleton archer. That's amazing. So you can see, as you work your way around, after you build your deck up, you can come back and fight these harder enemies that you weren't able to defeat earlier on. So he's got an effect down here, so he's going to get added over here. And I'm actually going to use this. I'm going to discard my hand to redraw, draw 5, and let's see if we can get rid of some of these empty corridor cards. Nope, we didn't draw into any. I think what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to discard a shield and sword to get rid of a card. Let's go ahead and get rid of this shield. We have a lot of shields. And I'm actually going to discard this shield and this sword here to get rid of this card here. So now we're really thinning out our deck. Hopefully I don't regret that. I think that's good. I think that's good. We're going to go deeper down this corridor. We got a kobold sorcerer. So I got 2. We need 3 shields and 3 swords once again. This is like the skeleton archers that we just fought. All right. Let's get 3 more cards. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this, man. It's a very, very cool little game. Like I said, it does take a while to play, but it's very rewarding as you get deeper in and you build your deck up. I feel like it just gets more interesting the deeper you go. Okay, so we need 3 shields. We got them. And 3 swords. 1, 2, 3. We got them. Let's go. Now, when we defeat this guy, he's only got his name at the bottom. He doesn't do anything for us. He's a jerk, but he's going to get banished over that way. Let's go deeper in. We got an empty corridor. We're going to rest in it and heal and add this to our deck. Go deeper. We got a snake pit trap. Okay, we got to defeat this in one go because it is a trap. Otherwise, it's going to deal damage and then get banished. We need 2 shields and 3 swords. Ooh, okay. We're going to use our skeleton archer. Draw 2 cards from your deck and place them in your hand. Boom. Look how amazing that is. So now we got our 2 shields and we've got 1 sword, 2 swords, 3 swords. Boom. We took down the snake pit trap and we get to add this to our deck over this way. Isn't that cool, dude? It's so freaking cool. I'm going to try the thing again. I'm going to use the poison gas door card. I'm going to discard that to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's shuffle this up. Okay, and then we're going to get 1 more. And let's see. Maybe I'll discard a sword and shield to banish this single sword from my hand. And you know what? I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna discard a sword and shield. And I'm gonna banish this kobold warrior and get rid of this single shield. I don't want that. We'll discard this over this way, and let's go deeper into this corridor. We're getting really deep into this one now. We got a monster chest trap. So again, it's a trap, so we've only got 1 chance to do this. We need 3 shields and 3 swords. So use our skeleton archers to draw 2 cards. We got this dead card in our hand here. So we got 2 swords, 3 swords, and we got 1 shield. Oh, and only 2 shields. We don't have enough to get rid of it. So we're actually going to take 4 damage. Ouch. So we go from 15 down to 11. And this card is going to get banished. And then I'm going to I'm going to discard a sword and shield to banish a card from my hand and get rid of that. And then I'm going to discard a sword and shield once again to banish that. And then we'll discard this. Let's go deeper into here. Okay, we got a magic door. Ooh, okay, so we got another door card here. We need 3 shields and 2 swords. Boom, we got it. That's 2 shields, 3 shields, 1 sword, 2 swords, and we get to add this to our deck over this way. And then we'll discard this extra card. Let's go deeper into this one, guys. We're getting way down in there. Shuffle this up. We've got a wooden door, and we need 5 of any type here. This ought to be fairly easy. This is the easiest door, I believe, of the 3 main doors. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we got 2, 4, 5. And then we're going to get this in our discard pile. And then I'm going to discard a sword and shield to banish this card from my hand. So you can see we're really thinning our deck out so that we only have these cards that give us more instead of just one single thing. Okay, we're going to go deeper. We found an empty corridor. We're going to heal 1 and go up to 12. This gets added to our deck. We're getting really close now. We found a Death Knight. Oh, man. Okay, so this guy needs 3 shield and 6 swords. We might be getting a little bit too brazen here. We don't have the 3 swords. We don't have the 6 shields either. I'm going to use this card to discard our hand and draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to use the skeleton archer to draw 2 more cards. Those cards are really good, man. Like the cards like Skeleton Archer, there's another. Oh yeah, Death Knight. He lets you draw 3 cards. If we can get this guy in our deck, that is going to be so, so powerful. Okay, so we're going to draw 2 cards from the Skeleton Archer. Okay, we need 3 shields. Okay, we definitely got that. I think we might actually have this, guys. We need 6 swords. We got 1 sword, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we got 4 shields. We got more than what we even need. Then we got 1 card left over. So we defeat the Death Knight. He gets added to our deck. That's amazing. He would have hit us for 5 too. So I'm glad we were able to take him down. This extra card goes here. And there's only 2 cards left. What do we got here? It's the Lich King. Oh my god, guys. So we actually found the boss. Now, if you defeat this guy, you don't win the game. He's just like the hardest enemy in the game. And we went straight to him. So wish me luck. Wish me luck here, guys. We need 7 of each. 7 swords and 7 shields. That's not going to happen. There's no way that's going to happen. I guess, you know what? We're going to let him attack. We're going to take 7 damage, but we're going to mitigate 1 damage with these 2 shields and then a 2nd damage with those 2 shields. So we're going to take 5 damage and go from 12 down to 7. So we'll flip this over. We're going to go down to 7. We're getting reasonably low here. I'm actually going to use the poison gas door to draw 5 new cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really want to draw into these empty corridors so that we can get rid of them. Okay, let's see here. Draw, what did we get? 4 right here. Yeah, we need 1 more. And we were not able to draw into it. I am going to discard a sword and shield to get rid of this card, though. And the rest I will discard over this way. Cool. Now I think I want to move over. Now I think I want to move over here. Yeah, let's move here. And let's flip and see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know what, guys? Since this video is going on so long as it is, I think I'm just going to try to find one exit door and call it there. Because you guys you've seen all the cards in the game. You know how the game works at this point. I don't want the video to be like 3 hours long. So we're just, at this point in the game, let's just try to find one stairs up card. And that's going to be our win condition for this game. Of course, when you're actually playing the game, you're trying to find all 4 stairs up cards. But again, I don't want the video to be like a, the extended version of a Lord of the Rings movie. Let's try to keep it relatively short here. So it's already almost going on an hour here. But if you're here and you're enjoying this, awesome. Really appreciate it. And let me know down in the comments if you guys enjoy these longer style videos or if you like the more bite-sized videos. Let me know. I know everybody's going to have different opinions, but I find that interesting. Okay, so here we've got a treasure. It is the Ring of Power. So I actually didn't even need to draw for this. We're just going to pick this up. We got the Ring of Power. It is a treasure. Ring of Power can be used once per turn, and you rotate it to the left or right to gain either 1 sword or 1 shield. So you can tap it to the side to gain a sword for that turn, or you can tap it this way to gain a shield for that turn. Pretty cool. So it's like a free sword and shield that you have in addition to your hand every single turn. Pretty cool. So we'll keep that over here. Let's go deeper into this one. Okay, we got Creeping Death. We need 4 of each here. We're going to use the Death Knight card. Draw 3 cards from your deck and place them in your hand. Watch how crazy this is going to start getting. We draw 3. Then we're going to use Skeleton Archers. Draw 2 cards and add them to your hand. Okay. So we need 4 and 4. So we're going to go... That's 2 of each. That is 3 of each. There's the 4th sword. And there's the 4th shield. We've defeated the Creeping Death. Dude, this guy gives you 2 shields and 2 swords. This card is insane. We get to add that to our deck. And the rest are going to go over here. And unfortunately, we don't have a sword to pair up with our shields to get rid of this corridor. So that is just going to all get discarded over that way. Let's go deeper in. We've got an empty corridor. We're going to heal 1 and go up to 8. Go further down. We've got an iron door. Okay, we draw 2 cards here. Let's shuffle up our discard pile and make a new deck. And for the iron door, we need 1 shield and 4 swords. Okay, let's draw 3 more. And what do we got? Okay, well, wow, we drew this guy already. So we've got our 1 shield, and then we've got 2 swords. Boom, 4 swords, done. We took down the iron door just like that. We add it to our deck. It provides 2 shields for us. And I think I'm going to try the poison gas door trick to draw 5 cards, and hopefully we can get rid of a dead end card. Nope, we did not draw one. I'm going to go ahead and use Skeleton Archer. We're going to draw 2 cards and fish for 1. There we go. Okay, so we're going to discard a sword and shield, get rid of this. I'm going to discard another sword and shield and get rid of that regular shield card, and the other cards we'll discard right here. Let's go deeper into this corridor. We've got a fire/dart trap. It can't decide what it is. It doesn't know if it's a fire trap or a dart trap. Okay, so it says we're going to take 5 damage if we're not able to do this. Remember, we got 1 shot at this because it's a trap. And it's got 4 shields and 3 swords. Okay, we've got a dead end card. We've got the Death Knight, so we get to draw 3 cards. So that's 1. And then we get to draw 2 more. 1, 2. Boop. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so we need 4 shields. That's 2. That's 4, and we need 3 swords. 2, 3. Boom. It took down the fire trap, and we can add this to our deck. It says, draw 3 cards from your deck, place 2 in your hand, and discard the 3rd. So it's like the Death Knight, but just a little bit worse, but still very, very good. Put these over here, and we'll discard a sword and shield to banish this empty corridor from our hand. Place this card here. Let's go deeper. Okay, we found a stone golem. He needs 3 shields and 5 swords in order to defeat. Okay, do we actually have it? We've got 2 shields, 3 shields, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 swords, 5 swords. Dudes, we are crushing it right now. We get the stone golem who will give us 3 shields whenever we use them. Nice. And we're just going to discard these. Let's go ahead and go deeper. I'm done with this trick. I think we're good now. I think you guys kind of get the point. We got the Amulet of Death. This says, Amulet of Death can be used to immediately produce 2 swords. You turn the amulet 90 degrees, and then you must play 2 shields to reset it. So you can tap this to gain 2 swords, and then if you want to untap it to be able to use it again, you have to spend 2 shields in order to do so. So that's cool. We got two swords right there to use. Here we go, guys. This is the last card. If this is a stairs up, we win the game. It's a stairs up. Boom. Okay, so of course, we don't actually win the game. You're trying to find all 4 of these, but as I mentioned a little bit ago, for the purposes of this playthrough, let's just try to find the 1 stair up card and get out of here. So there it is, guys. You can see how as you work your way around, you can kind of build your deck up. And, it gets a little bit more manageable to deal with these stronger enemies as you work your way around. So, from this point, probably wouldn't want to deal with the Lich King yet. Still, I'd probably end up moving here. We'd end up flipping this card. We'd grab this Ring of Illusions. We'd flip another one and then work our way down through the decks. Then we're trying to get all the way down to the bottom until we find all of these stair up cards. Here's another dead end here. There's another stair up. And on the other side of the Lich King, had we defeated it, would have been that other dead end. So there it is, dudes. That is Dungeon Flee right there. That is the easy mode of the game. And essentially the hard mode works the same way. It's just as I mentioned in the beginning, the setup for the game works a little bit differently. You mix all the level 1 and 4 enemies together, and then the 5, 6, and 7 together. So that way you can run into, a little bit of a different variation early on. You might run into things from 1, 2, 3, or 4 early on, rather than going 1, then 2, then 3, and working your way progressively down. And then with that extreme mode, you just take it all, you just mix it all together. Of course, you're going to want to put your stair up and dead end cards on the bottom still, but all the other cards are just going to get mixed up, and you'll go through the game like it's the Wild Wild West. And that's definitely going to be quite a challenge. So there it is, dudes. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, hit the red subscribe button, and click the bell to stay updated for new videos that are coming very, very soon. And I will leave a link down in the description. Be sure to use that link down in the description. It's going to help me out big time. And you can go to the Game Crafter's website to pick up your own copy of Dungeon Flee if this looks interesting to you. And you can also grab the game mats over there too. And as mentioned, there are several different ones. So be sure to check those out. Pick your favorite one. And you'll be all set up, ready to play Dungeon Flee for yourself. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, have a good one. And I'll see you guys in the next video.